Welcome back to Peak Mastery. This is the Fighting Epicenter. I am Elvis, your host for the night. Tonight we're doing boxing. It's going to be Kambosos versus Lopez to be crowned the lightweight king. It's going to be a hell of a fight. Let's tune in. Let's begin. We're going to start with Zhang Lei versus Craig Lewis, the heavyweights. Here we go. So, the fight starts with 2 rounds. Spoiler alert, right? We're talking about it. The fact is that first round from Detroit, Michigan, Mr. Craig Lewis. And we have from Henan, China, Zhang. Lewis keeps that distance that whole first round. Okay. He gets popped here and there by Zhang. Here comes that second round. It was a lot of nothing. Here comes that second round. And you have Zhang touching him once, touching him twice. By that third, the man is down and out because the ref saw that he wasn't going to be putting up a fight. The corner pretty much threw in the towel. The matter of fact is, Zhang is a silver medalist. Interesting fun fact, he had lost to future world champion Anthony Joshua, whatever. And this guy is on a whole other league than Mr. Lewis, who came in to clearly collect a check in Zhang. So I didn't understand what was the point of this fight. We have Raymond Ford and Felix Caraballo. Raymond being from New Jersey and Mr. Felix being from Puerto Rico. Anyways, pretty much the tale of the tape was I gotta give it to Raymond. First time I'm actually seeing this guy. He's a prospect. They're building him up, but he's about 8-0, 9-0. And Felix is a great journeyman. Truly a nice little test for the up-and-comer. Fun fight. It actually didn't go the distance. The fight stopped actually around that eighth round. From the beginning, it looked fun. Ford tried to give it a shot. The man was really good defensively. Picked his shots. He landed when he wanted. The problem with Felix is that he kept coming in with his head too often. He wasn't even kind of starting up, loading up with jabs first, kind of leading into that right. He was aiming always for those one shots. It was fun, back and forth at times. Whenever Raymond allowed him. But the reality is, great defense, picked his shots, it looked really good. Here came the 8th round. The ref let it actually go on for more than a couple rounds because it seemed like Felix just kind of gassed out at a point, and Ford just had that type of stamina to keep on going. So by the 8th, the ref saw enough. Ford just kept catching him when he wanted to. It was just getting pretty bad, dangerous. So they gave it to Ford by knockout. Man is still a champion. Good for him. We're looking forward to seeing what this prospect can do. For the Super IBF title, it's going to be Kenichi Ogawa versus Zinga Fuzila. And it was kind of a cat and mouse the whole time. We have Zinga, actually, South Africa, beat a couple of credible fighters. Impressive record, actually. He's absolutely counter, but he likes to set up little traps whenever possible, and he catches you, and it does damage. And then you have Kenichi, Mr. Ogawa, quite the busybody. Talk about ring generalship. He's all over the place. He really sets the pace, sets the tone. And from the beginning, towards the middle, Zinga setting up traps, just kind of staying on the defensive, popping every time. Kenichi every time he tried to step in and land a couple of shots. But Kenichi was a busier body. He came in, performed when he had to. It's like almost double punches thrown and landed, in fact. And then we have at that 5th, right at the midpoint of the fight, Kenichi catches him, puts him down. Zinga actually felt that punch, that second punch coming, and it probably would have taken his lights out. But again, very smart, very clever guy. Stands up the rest of the fight up until right before the championship rounds. It was pretty much a repeat of the initial rounds where Kenichi's in there, he's doing what he wants, he's being entertaining, again looking like he's the winner of every round, and then Zinga catching him when possible. Here we go, the 10th round, championship round. We have Zing actually stepping it up. That sense of urgency kicked in, and I get it, this is not his style where he's the aggressor, but this man kind of stayed in the pocket, picked his shots, and he was aggressive, and it was actually very entertaining, back and forth. But he had caught Kenichi quite a few times. Looked like the truth was you kind of saw that Zinga was cut up quite a few times from Kenichi catching him. But here comes that 12th round. I think, but it seemed like Zinga had run out of steam by that point. He had put in his everything that he could, and at that last round, the man went down twice. Kenichi caught him, and he survived that last round. It was just a couple of seconds left. It was some hard hits. Really impressive though. You know, it was just one of those classic defensive, offensive type of boxing matches. Truly was a fun chess match. But Kenichi was going to win. He's absolutely the better bet. He's been in there and he's fought for a couple of world titles previous. So unanimous decision. They give it to Kenichi. But good on Zinga. Hopefully, wish him man the best. And for the main event, oh, it was so much fun. It was George Kambosos and Teofimo Lopez. Oh, just fresh out of it. I just had to see it again. The whole replay. Talk about an opening, huh? First round. What a knockdown. Teofimo just put him down, but man, Teofimo was put down. Kambosos really sharp, so slick, so fast. The guy, truth be told, this guy was coming out like a bat out of hell, and Teofimo, and he just couldn't catch him. He was just too strong, too buff, too well built. But anyways, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, a little bit of backstory here. We have from Sydney, Australia, the Greek, George Kambosos. We have Teofimo Lopez, the man who just dethroned Lomachenko, the young buck. I thought it was going to be the Lopez era for years to come. This guy is incredible. But Kambosos, since the build-up, this man had shown no flinch, no fear. He absolutely acknowledged who Teofimo was, but you saw it. That man, in every press conference and every weigh-in, he stood there, he stared him down. It was so intense. Now, here we go. So from the beginning of the fight, Teofimo just throwing these bombs, just trying to catch Kambosos when possible, but it just wasn't happening. This man was just raging. He just didn't feel like he was being respected. So for that first half, George just picking the shots, doing what he wanted. Here comes the middle of the fight, and you could kind of see that Teofimo is just lost. He doesn't know what to do. He's so confused in his corner. He had his father there. It's about that time that he actually looks into a new camp, because it was so frustrating, because every round there was a different message, some different advice, and at times of doubt you really need your corner to get you back. But anyways, here comes the later rounds, and the thing is, you start seeing George slowing down just a little bit, to the point where it was more than enough for Teofimo to now press him, because he just saw him kind of adjusting to that pace, and he just started catching him, and then you see it at that 10th round where he knocks him down. Oof, that was so intense. Oh boy. It was really a back and forth for a lot of the rounds. And also here in New York, those guys from the Boogie Down, Mr. Teofimo, and so the crowd was clearly on his side, and so every time they cheered, it just sounded like Teofimo was doing more than he really was. And then here comes at the later rounds, Kambosos gets that second wind, and he's doing what he's got to do. He's picking the shots. He's in there. He got caught a couple of times, but he was still standing there, going back and forth. This is what the fight. This is what we dream for. But I am guilty of something, because it went finally to the judges, and they did give it to the new lightweight king in the form of George Kambosos. Wow, wow. I just can't praise it enough. And I'll be honest, I just thought, I didn't think much of the. Please comment below. Am I stupid? Am I blind? Did I not see it coming? What was I thinking? Let me know. Are you guys guilty of it too? Did you just think Teofimo was just gonna run through him like I did? What a night. What a night. For the closing thoughts, my mind goes immediately to Zhang Zhili, the heavyweight Chinaman. Impressive record, incredible record, amateur, medalist, bronze, silver, undefeated, but he's been beating a lot of nobodies. He's nowhere, at this stage of his life, he's about 37, 38 now, at this stage. Now you're about to dive into like some decent contenders. You've been beating bums this whole time. I just don't see it happening for this guy. Good look, tall, looks really strong, very, very smart, very sharp. He landed whenever he wanted in that fight, but I just don't see him making that big leap. Again, at this stage of his life, it's not happening. Let's see, right? There'll be some entertaining fights with Chisora and a few others that are available, like Povetkin. I believe he retired, but hey, if the money's right, huh? And then you have Dillian White. I'd like to see that. Really, that sounds like a lot of fun. But on to, I got my eye on Kenshi Ogawa. That dude, he was always in the mix with the titles. So I like his attitude. I love his energy. He's so exciting. He brought that belt back to Japan. There was some controversy with him before. He popped positive for steroids and whatnot, and so he had to that win over Trevor, the previous champ, became into a no contest, so it became a vacant. So let's see what happens with him in the future. I'm very excited to see what he does. Now, for the Kambosos and Teofimo, I want to see. Teofimo said, Kambosos said he's going to do Australia next. Sold out crowd. You know it's going to be. They love that guy. Who doesn't? Truly. I'm a big fan. And I didn't even know about him up until not too long ago, truth be told. He wants to do it strictly in Australia. I'm rooting for him. How things are going on right now, that country. Who knows how soon that'll be. He's talking about Lomachenko. Let's do it, man. I really want to see that. It'd be so exciting. Imagine the upset. It'll be so entertaining. But my current concerns actually go towards Lopez. Young guy, 24, 25, not even nowhere near his prime years. He's a stud. He's a beast. He actually looks. I don't know how he makes the weight class. You clearly saw that he dwarfed George in size in that ring. He was such a bully, and the thing is, he was going through hard times. He was kind of even talking about hanging it up, and I'm just like, that doesn't really sound good. I really, watching him, I get a lot of Victor Ortiz vibes. Good looking, really strong, bright future, and then the moment there's some frustration, they immediately back down. Well, in this case, that's not the case for Lopez. He's not backing down, but the things talk about hanging it up, and I just hated to hear that, because there was also some talks about him going up in another weight class because he had some difficulty in cutting the weight. Honestly, it's that time, it's that chapter, It's time to move on. It's time for a new trainer. It's time for a better diet. It's time that you acknowledge and you respect your opponents. I think he was on top of the world, the young lion, and he was humbled. He was brought back down to earth. So I am still excited to see what he's going to be doing next. So tune in, Peak Mastery, the Fighting Epicenter. I'm your host, Elvis. Appreciate you. Hey, thumb it up for me. I'm going to keep coming with the good stuff.